Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I'm Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I'm a lecturer in the university. On this channel, I do a number of stuff, but migration is one of the major stuffs I do on this channel. Meanwhile, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly go ahead and click subscribe on your screen right now. Tap subscribe on your screen right now to subscribe to this channel. I encourage you seriously to stay till the end of this video. There are very important issues I want to raise in this video. Because in this video, you will learn Donald Trump's immigration policies that may affect your moving to the US or living in the US. Since Donald Trump, won the election, there has been different issues that have been coming up that are making his interest, strategies, approaches to managing migration and immigration in the US come to the fore. And it's no longer news that Donald Trump won the election on a serious campaign against immigration. Among other things, I'm sure he used economy, used a number of things, but immigration was at the center of his campaign. And he did not mince words about that. And he has said that from the day one of his presidency, he will sign a number of executive orders to tackle immigration. According to him, Biden has done a very terrible job. Biden has raised the borders of the US. Biden has allowed a lot of aliens to occupy the country and is trying to do all manners of things. But definitely US is a democracy. It's a country with the rule of law. It will have to put together a number of legislations, executive orders to be able to achieve his immigration agenda. He has promised the largest mass deportation in American history. He has promised, rounding up undocumented immigrants, describing them as illegal aliens who has invaded the country. And, interestingly, his party, the Republican Party, has won the control of the two chambers of the legislature, House of Senate and House of Rep, and he now has a lot of leverages to be able to appoint, judges that will fulfill that will go along his interest. And he has been appointing a lot of, people who share his view. He has appointed a lot of immigration SARS. The first time he tried to build borders, but, walls across the borders with Mexico and so on. But now he's going beyond building borders. And he has promised that the second term is coming, beginning from 2025, will be harsher, than 2017 during his first term. He has promised to block all the immigration loopholes that people have used in the past. And he believes people have come to the US to invade. People have come to the US to abuse the public service. All manners of interests. People have accused him of xenophobia. But I believe it's worth noting what are these policies that is putting together that have come to the. And I want you to view this intentionally. Number one that is so serious is the bigger and harsher travel bans on some countries. He tried this in his first term when he imposed travel bans on 7 Muslim majority countries. But this time he's expanding it, he's more determined about it, and he said in the minimum it will include Gaza, it will include Afghanistan, it will include people with communist orientations, people who are Marxist apologists. This is going to be very serious. In the first time, there are a lot of pushback, a lot of argument, but now Trump appeared to be in more consolidated position because he did not only won the electoral college, he won the popular votes. The Republicans are now in control of the Senate and House of Rep. This is very serious, and we have to keep monitoring. So he has promised that from day one, there will be executive orders and bigger and harsher travel bans will come into it. And it's going to be expanding this travel ban. And you see, one can see the body language of Trump and his approaches. To the extent that he said he's going to impose higher and harsher tariffs on Mexico, on China, on Canada, because they refuse to stop irregular migration or illegal migration into the US. Imagine that. If we're going to use economic strategies to punish countries that he believed are not stopping illegal immigration into the US, that tells you something seriously, something profound, that Trump this time means business. And we have to continue to monitor his immigration, anti-immigration rhetoric, his immigration policies, so that we can understand how to better manage migration, how to better govern migration. So it's within migration governance. So now, bigger, harsher travel ban. Then there's going to be mass deportation, including rounding up undocumented migrants, undocumented immigrants who have been in the US, in the safe haven, for so many years. Now it's promising mass deportation of undocumented immigrants, including using the army. It's also talking about new detention camps. It's building new detention camps to forcefully detain and deport, undocumented immigrants. That is serious. And, in the first time, the deportation procedures, became very complicated also because there were the issue of detention camps not being sufficiently available. So it's building new ones, forceful detention. And now you need to listen to this. This is very important. It's going to it's attacking birthright citizenship. Giving birth in the US, there are people who are born in the US, there are people who come to the US simply to give birth because they know through that their children are going to be automatically Americans. So all those, Trump is saying there are going to be attacks on birthright citizenship. And this is going to be very serious for people who want to come to the US newly and those who are already there waiting to give birth to get the birthright citizenship opportunity. Another policy you have to be aware is the DACA. Donald Trump is saying he's going to end the DACA. What does DACA mean? DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. Under this policy, people who enter the US and consider children can come, defer the immigration procedures that may be harmful to them, and may seek rights to work. So these people come to the US under this, and Donald Trump is saying there's going to be an end to DACA. He's also talking about suspending refugee settlement. That means it doesn't matter how much of conflicts are going on in the world, US will no longer take refugees. They won't take refugees, and they won't allow refugees to come and resettle. And many people move to the US on the refugee status, on the refugee strategy. So coming to the US as a refugee will be near impossible or reduced to near zero. So suspending refugee resettlement status is a major policy that may affect anyone that wants to come to the US under this regime. Then there's also the issue of ending temporary protection status program. Ending temporary protected status program. Right now, people who have been persecuted abroad, people who are going through persecution, who are going through challenges, can move to the US. And they're going to have what we describe as protected refugee status, in the sense that they can come in, and once they come in, they are protected. This protected status is different from the refugee status, because the refugee status, when people resettle in the US as refugees, they are able from there to regularize their status and become Americans. But ending the temporary protector status program, will even make it more difficult for people to come in. It doesn't matter the persecution you are facing. It doesn't matter what you want to use. Maybe you are facing terrorism, political persecution, religious persecution in your country. US will make it very difficult or impossible, because they're going to end the temporary protected status program. Even though the temporary, protected status program, up till, it's not easy to lead to regularization and become Americans, but at the same time, it's a popular one that people use. And many people, many countries, many people in the US, have used the temporary protected status program to stay in the US, perpetually. And Donald Trump is saying the TPS, the temporary protected status program, will be ended. Then making asylum harder generally will be a major policy. Then, during the first time of Donald Trump, a lot of people, experienced family separation. So many people were seeking asylum, were going through immigration procedures, parents separated from their children. Children were attended to at different parts of the United States, while the parents, were attended to at different parts of the United States. They were not allowed to be together. And so many people, Americans, had their families across the borders in other countries and were not allowed to come to the US to join their family members. And Biden canceled this from day one of his presidency. But Trump is introducing that now and say he's going to revive family separation, both in the US, once they are going through immigration procedures, and outside the US. So the second term of Trump promises to be very challenging. He's planning to close all the loopholes, and that will start from day one. Using the armies, judiciaries, now he has the majority and is able to influence the appointment to the judiciary. He has appointed many immigration SARS, die-hard anti-immigration officials into the cabinet, and two of the houses of the legislature, Senate and House of Rep, in the bag, and they complain about crime and the rest of it. But I want you to know that throughout this regime, I'll be dropping videos on one thing you need to know, other things you need to know as they unfold in terms of immigration in the US, migration to the United States, and across the world. So stay tuned to this channel for wonderful up-to-date videos and pieces of information that will assist you in making informed decisions and help others as they move across the US, into the US, and all over the world. Click subscribe. Till I see you in my next video. Bye for now.